Hello, and you're listening to the Tiny Vet Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, with me, Dr. Nicole Sue, veterinarian, and my fiance,
me, comedian Jez Watts. Nicole loves her horse very much, and he's named Rocky, but she's now 2 concussions deep. And if she gets another one, she will be the one that sounds like Sylvester Stallone. Hey, welcome to the Tiny Vet Podcast. I love rabbits.
I do love rabbits.
Yeah. And soon that will be all you are able to say.
I'm okay with that, actually. And also, the first concussion was not from him.
That's true. But you are 2 concussions deep.
Yep.
Lifetime.
But that implies that the first concussion was also him, and it wasn't.
That's true.
Yeah, I was 14 years old.
What was it from?
Rugby.
But yeah, that's true. But your third concussion will be from him, I'm sure. What are we talking about today, my love?
Oh no, the concussion's kicking in. I forgot. So
how it's never the horse's fault. The episode.
Well, anyway.
I know. I know. I haven't had any concussions, so I know.
Really?
That's really true. And also, it's not surprising.
Crazy.
It's like the standard that people have not been concussed. Yes, what are we talking about today, my love?
You do stay indoors a lot. So, supermarket pet food.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
like, you know, your supermarket brands versus, like, premium brands.
Sure.
You know, that's a thing.
I've heard, because you
heard me scream about it.
Well, you also, you work for...
you hear it in Pet Circle.
Yeah, you work from for a company called Pet Circle as, like, an online expert. So I've certainly heard you talk to many clients, like, over, like, whatever, the Zoom chat or whatever it is. That's a lot of your job is advising about, you know, specific nutrition stuff. So it's very complicated, actually.
It's weirdly complicated.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the companies claim things which are either like unprovable or sort of vaguely relevant,
it's like those,
but not really.
Yeah, it's like those diet foods where they're like, you know, low in fat and it's just full of sugar, that kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Or when they claim...
Or cigarettes, you know, like it's that thing of like, oh, it's toasted. That's the thing of, you know, it's claiming something that's not even relevant to your dog. But because of the claim, or cat or whatever, but because of the claim, it seems like it's relevant.
Yeah, or stuff that just applies to all food.
Exactly.
Like, it's not radioactive. I'm like, yes, all food.
100% nutrition.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. And people
like, this one's nutrition.
Yeah. But I was like, that's all of it, guys.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not black and white.
Sure.
So, it's not as good, 100%, but it can be acceptable.
Right.
So... most supermarket food is still formulated to meet the total daily requirements of dogs.
Right.
So a lot of times it is actually probably more balanced and more complete than like fancy stuff that people make at home for their dogs without...
Right. Like, then like a home cooked diet or whatever.
Yeah. So a lot of times it is actually healthier than that kind of stuff.
And it would be substantially cheaper than the premium brands,
Yes,
imagine.
it is substantially cheaper, but I guess the thing for me is I'm going, hey guys, like the lower price comes from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
you know, so to be aware of that. So one thing that I always, unfortunately have to keep pointing out is people will go, oh yeah, my dog, you know, has allergic reactions to, you know, chicken or beef. Mm-hmm. So I feed him this supermarket diet that has fish, like printed in big red letters on the packaging. Mm-hmm. And then you turn the bag over and it's fish and / or poultry and / or beef and / or pork.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose like with anything, it's very time consuming to read all the ingredients on things.
People don't know how to do it.
Well, most of us don't do it, and that includes food for ourselves.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you actually take the time to, you could maybe steer clear of some pitfalls or whatever.
So they go, oh, and then I get to break it to them that, hey, you know, the product you're feeding probably is still containing, you know, chicken or whatever.
That thing you're trying to avoid.
Yeah. And, you know, the claim of fish on label, like, you've got to actually go back and read because it's not untrue. It probably does contain some percentage of fish, but it doesn't only contain that.
Yeah, sure.
So stuff like that. I find it probably is the biggest thing that people fall into with these pet foods. And the other thing as well is not realizing why premium pet foods are more expensive.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's not just for fun.
Well, I think the assumption would be that it's for greed.
Yeah, there we go. That's what they put it.
Fun.
Yeah. But the premium pet foods, a lot of them do have more science and research behind it.
Right.
So Hills and Royal Canin, they actually
I've heard you recommend those a bunch of times.
It's because they've got like dedicated research facilities,
right,
that test all their foods.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only do they formulate it, but then they also do post-formulation testing.
Are those companies, by the way, just because we have some listeners overseas, are those companies
worldwide
companies?
Yeah, they're international.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Whereas, you get some really fancy brands that, make lots of claims and all that, and they're like, oh, yes, our food is formulated to meet da-da-da, whatever.
Right.
But they've actually not undergone the same amount of rigorous testing that a lot of the other ones have done.
Yeah, because I would imagine there's not really that much oversight.
Not
on claims,
No, I mean, it would be the same for any packaging claims.
No, that's what I mean. Like, yeah. Like, it's a thing where so many claims are, as I was saying before, but either spurious or, not regulated, or not strongly regulated.
And that's saying, the lower price has to come from somewhere.
Sure.
So it's going to come from, ingredient quality. So they're probably not using as high quality ingredients as there, so it's going to be less digestible.
Yeah.
There may be more indigestible matter in the protein that they use, for example. Carbohydrate content is probably higher because it is cheaper to source raw carbohydrates than it is for raw protein.
Okay.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I know you've talked about that before.
Yeah, but
like it doesn't have to be high. Like high protein doesn't necessarily mean better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some dogs that are really overweight, for example, that might be a negative impact on them.
Yeah, okay.
As well, so that's something to think about. Less quality assurance and control is something as well. So going
that's
back
more
to the
variability
testing.
In terms of each packaging thing.
Yeah, and look, like a lot of dogs will do fine on it. And normally say, look, for adult dogs with no problems, no health problems, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, okay.
But for puppies and for older dogs or for dogs with health problems,
you need better, high quality feed.
Yeah, like. Look, yes.
When does it stop being a puppy? Like what age range?
It depends on the size of the dog.
Okay.
So like small breeds, 12 months.
Okay.
Medium breeds, about 14 months or so. Okay. Large breeds, 18 to 22 months sometimes, and giant breeds like 22 months and above.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it makes sense because puppies all kind of start off at the same size, and if you think about the amount of growing you've got to.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
to become a little dog, a medium dog, a big dog, yeah.
Okay.
So it just takes longer for them to grow.
So once they hit maximum size, they're an adult.
Kind of.
More or less.
It's when their growth plates like fully fuse and close.
I mean,
do you know what growth plates are?
Yeah, listen, I vaguely remember learning about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh,
and also, I don't know that owner is measuring growth plates.
well, that's a reason. When we tell you, there's a reason as to why we tell you these ages. We're not just like, oh, to
no. I'm sure. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Cool.
Growth plates
better
are
quality. No, I don't.
You don't want to know about growth plates?
Fine, tell me about growth plates.
So growth plates are these bits at the ends of long bones, and that's where the bone elongates from.
That brings back a memory.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It triggers something.
It's been a long time since I was at uni. I don't need this information anymore.
Yeah. So once they fuse,
yeah.
Then that bone can no longer grow.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're done with
that
one.
so they need that higher quality stuff while their body is still sort of extending.
Yeah. Extending.
Yeah. and then obviously once they get older, then they need more, like they need more to have their body be healthy, right?
Yeah.
So they need better quality stuff at either end of the growth spectrum of life.
And like there's some really cool stuff going on now with like senior diets. There's senior diets that are formulated to help with canine dementia and brain aging change in dogs. The joint support thing we've known about for a long time.
Has there been any study with this is sort of going off a bit of a tangent, but like has there been any research into like calorie restriction and life extension for dogs?
Probably
unhappy dog. That's not why people don't have a dog to make them sad all the time.
Yeah, like they probably. Oh, can you imagine?
You're gonna be like, hey, but you'll live 2 years longer. It's like the dog doesn't understand.
The dog's like,
it's just like, give me some goddamn food.
Yeah, I mean, I probably done on lab dogs.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't be like a ex vivo, real life study on it.
Yeah, sure.
Because,
I mean, it's sad.
Man, another study I heard of. So we had some training from a pharmaceutical company recently. And one of the things that they had to do to prove like a packaging claim on their product was they had to breed dogs that were naturally resistant to ticks. And then infect them with ticks and then give them the drug and then like make sure all the ticks died. And I had many questions. One, oh my God. You're first of all, you've got to breed these dogs. And two, who's breeding the ticks? Whose job is that? Just to breed dogs?
I mean, I say this is the only reason, but it's not the only reason. But this is one of the reasons I left research science. Is
breeding ticks? You had to breed you bred ticks?
I bred ticks on my body and it was too itchy. But no, it's just a thing of like, you gotta do some weird stuff, and some of it is cruel and brutal. And it is ultimately it's in the service of, science, service of advancing knowledge and ultimately providing more good health to more creatures. But I don't like the idea of doing the actual tests. Someone else can do that.
And then you had to put the ticks on the dogs. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Weird job.
Weird and that's the thing. I liked researching stuff. I didn't like the moment I saw lab rats.
Oh, they're so cute.
Literal lab rats who were the friendliest, chubbiest little creatures. Being like, hello, friend. And like, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I was so glad my research did not get to the point, because I started off on zebrafish, that the next step was replicating in rats. So I would have had to murder these rats. And it's like, watching someone do it. Well, watching someone do it, I just went, I can't do this. This job is not for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Have you met Roger, the rabbit? The ex-lab rabbit?
Who framed?
Lily's rabbit.
I don't think I've met him.
You not met him? Oh, man, he is the dumbest.
Oh, this is one she rescued, right?
Yeah, he was an ex-lab rabbit, and she saved him from that. And he's just this dumbest, sweetest thing. Anyway, supermarket food.
Yes.
Okay, for most, but, you've got to keep in mind these life stages. And
I mean, I think what it comes down to is what? Like, supermarket food is a decent choice.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice.
But there are better choices.
There are better choices. But you know what? Like, if you're struggling to get by and that's what you can afford for your otherwise well dog, man, don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Like, the dog's probably eating better than you are.
And I think, surprisingly to most, supermarket food's probably better than a home-cooked diet.
Yeah, like it's so...
Which I think is surprising to people.
Right? It's so surprising to people, but kind of when you think about it, yeah.
Yeah. And, make sure to listen in to the Tiny Vet podcast in the future to watch Nicole's neurological decline.
Hey, I haven't fallen off him for a long time, okay? And we're jumping now.
Famous last words.
You jumped really well today. The Tiny Vet podcast is brought to you by Upilio. To support us, go to patreon.com/tinyvetpod. Please like and subscribe. Hug your pets!